Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Vivid Earth. Anina Malherbe-Lan back for some daily intel updates and inspiration, truth and inspiration. So, guys, I wanted to do something yesterday, but I was a bit busy. I couldn't get to any recordings, but it was a very significant day, wasn't it? Wow, what a day! It was Easter Monday, the 21st of April, and we came to know about Pope Francis' death. Finally, I say finally, because for many of us in this movement, we know that it's actually already happened. And if you're new here, yes, it may come as a shock, but this death already happened ages ago. The announcement of his death, however, has to be very strategic with numerology in mind, um, the sacredness of numbers, sacred geometry, important dates, portals, all of these things. So, the 20 Easter Sunday is normally known as Resurrection Day. Is it 20th or 21st? Something like that. So I just had this download that, this was actually the resurrection of our own consciousness, resurrection of our freedom. This is really what's happening now. It's just like, religious people will say that the Messiah will return, Christ will return. He's not returning. Christ consciousness is returning within all of us, because finally we are really getting and understanding what he was teaching, which is all about Christ consciousness, us breaking through the limitations of this realm to do the evolution for this human species that we were meant to do, to get it to a pinnacle point of breakthrough. So that is what we are currently doing. And I think this timing of the Pope's death is very, very significant. It's all about dates, timing, announcements. It's all very symbolic. For me, this signifies the final fall of the Vatican, because we are ruled by a three-state, like a trilogy, if you will. So it's Washington, D.C., the constitutional head of the world. Then you've got the crown, and then you've got the Vatican. London being the financial center, and the Vatican being the religious center. And that is the head of the three-headed beast system. Okay, that's the one controlling everything. Everything boils back down to the Vatican. All of our taxes go to the Vatican. Your birth certificate trust is ultimately held by the Vatican. So, this head of the snake needed to be removed as a symbolic liberation point for the human species on this planet. The other two has already been done. The Queen submitted years ago. She died. There's some numbers that I'm going to quote just now. Washington, D.C., well, that's been taken over as well. Trump has been cleaning house, throwing out the corrupt, but essentially, benevolent forces have now control over the White House, over the constitutional head office of this trilogy that rules over Earth. So this is very significant. And remember, I believe it was Barack Obama that supported or really put Pope Francis there, if you will, in a way. So it's all interconnected. It's all a web of deceit and lies and dark shadows that have been ruling over this earth for a very long time. Then you look at the number of 88. Well, the Pope was 88 when he died. 88 is kind of a number of completion. You look at Trump's numerology, it's 88. You look at John Fitzgerald Kennedy, like if you spell the full name out, it's 88. What was the number for Back to the Future, the movie? 88. They had to go 88 miles per hour to break through space-time. And we are literally breaking through space-time right now. We are jumping timelines. I don't know about you, but I had some extraordinary insights yesterday, even before all of this happened. It might have been the day before, but that Easter Sunday, Monday kind of window gave me some profound insights just about, consciousness, how we express our consciousness on this planet. And just, it was really, really significant for me. I'm wondering if it was for you too. If it was, let me know in the comments. Okay, let's see what's next. I'm just going to read a couple of interesting notes and stats and posts here that I thought was interesting around what just happened. So Mr. Paul was saying, I've seen what they don't want you to know. The walls of Vatican power are crumbling faster than they can rebuild them. This won't be a quiet passing. This was a signal. The death of a pope is never just death. It's a message, a transfer of shadows. I would say transfer of power as well. The final move in their collapsing empire. The seals are breaking, the rituals ending, their crown will fall, and you will witness it. When it happens, remember this wasn't coincidence. It's the end of the oldest cover-up in history, the last veil lifted. You're not waiting for news, you're waiting for confirmation. I would say we are the news now. Okay, so that was interesting. The other thing that I forgot to say is it's also been prophesied by people like Nostradamus that this may be the last pope. We've already been aware that they speak of these times as the end times. Now, it's not the end of Earth or anything like that. Nothing disastrous is going to happen. But in fact, this is the end of time. That's why it's the end times, because we're breaking through space-time. You've already seen last week, they put on whitehouse.gov that the government now has technology that can break through space and time, that can bend time. So this is where we're at, guys. None of these things get announced randomly, without purpose, without connection to other things. So timing of these things are everything. So yeah, we're talking about end times. We're talking about potentially this being the last pope. And I know you also hope that is the case. I don't think religion as such is going to collapse just yet. It's going to take some time. That's a big one to dismantle. But this is the start of that dismantling. And quite honestly, the Vatican is not just a center for religion or for the Christian or the Catholic religion, but it is more so a center of control, locus of control that have been ruling this planet for eons. So this is very, very symbolic. Also remember the Pope opened a portal in December. Remember that? People were like horrified. What is he opening here? What's happening? What if that was a portal for all the demons to leave? What if this is the completion of that process? All dark entities had a window in which to leave this planet and to go back from where they came from and to alchemize their energy, but not on Earth. It's got to happen somewhere else. Maybe this was the closing, completion of that portal. You say, okay, your day is done here. It's time to go. Now, I heard the other day it just came up on Instagram, a BBC little insert that Pope Francis used to be a nightclub bouncer. I kid you not. I kid you not. Yeah, he started his young career as a nightclub bouncer. And he went from that to being the Pope. I don't know, is it just me or is there something that is not quite adding up there? Yeah, stranger things, I tell you. So it's interesting that this year is also known as a Jubilee year in the Vatican calendar. I forgot which calendar. So this is also known as a Jubilee year. And that goes very nicely hand in hand with Jasara Nasara rolling out globally, because we need that Jubilee to move forward. And in the meantime, the markets are also, doing some strange things in the background. We saw gold just again increase by almost 10% in the last couple of days. It's at $3,400 an ounce. That's crazy. The other thing, just going back to the number 88 that I didn't mention, is that WEF leader Klaus Schwab officially stepped down with immediate effect on the same day. Yeah, you heard that correctly. So this is very interesting. The 88 comms cannot be more clear. There's a few more things that I'm going to just mention. Let me get that out quickly. When you look at Q-drop 88, it gets even more interesting. Talks about 10 days of darkness. I've been speaking about this for a long time. Also, the Pope's death, the protocol that goes in hand with the Pope's death, basically talks about 10 days of darkness as well. So I don't know, guys. It really looks very interesting. But the Q post, I'll just read that for you quickly. It says 10 days, darkness, scare tactics, i.e. mainstream media. D's falling, R's walk away, removed. Saudi Arabia, US, Asia, and EU. Disinformation is real. Distractions are necessary. Focus was US today while really happening in Saudi Arabia under same context, military control, martial law, missile strike, etc. I'm not going to read the whole post, but it is very, very interesting. There's a few more things around the 88, but I'm just going to find that. So just to go back to Klaus Schwab, so he obviously stepped down with immediate effect as the chairman of the WEF, and Vice Chairman Peter Brabeck-Letmathe, or I don't know how you pronounce that, steps in as interim chairman. So very, very, very interesting guy. Now, who did just meet with the Pope a couple of hours before his death? J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance. And already the people on the left are crying that he poisoned him, he did something, he's the Antichrist, because apparently the Pope was going to confront the Antichrist, during the end times. People just make things fit the way they want it to fit in their mind. Just remember that. Some things are not fitting, they're just not fitting. But some people force that because they want to make sense of the situation. Or, like those on the far left and those in the deep state, often say these things because they, just like to make these accusations, run with it, put it all over mainstream media. Already there's like leaks now, apparently. AOC has already discussed this with another congressman or somebody else. She thinks, J.D. Vance poisoned the Pope. Ridiculous, in my opinion. But suffice to say, we can unpack this in many more ways, but suffice to say, there are big things at play in the background. This is a major, major marker, one of the big markers that we were waiting for before everything transforms, and especially before the financial system falls. In my opinion, J.D. Vance was there to make sure that they do announce the Pope's death as contractually agreed, and that everything happens smoothly, because you have to ensure that smooth transition of power and make sure the message gets delivered the way I mean, it is controlled by the White Hats, but in my opinion, he was there to oversee that strategic announcement. Yeah, so interesting times. But all I can go back to is I want to remind you that this is the time that Christ consciousness is emerging on this planet. So do your part in terms of working on your own consciousness, making sure that you're not just addicted to intel, but you're actually doing the work that is required from us light workers, because more than anything, it's about us shining our light and being the example. And you're not going to evolve just by accident. You're going to evolve through hard work, commitment, discipline, and the willingness to dive deep within, where sometimes it's not so much fun. It's not so comfortable to do, because during that process, we have to face our own shadows as well. But it is so necessary, because this is a time for alchemizing energies on the planet. And we're doing a lot of that heavy lifting for the entire planet. So, we have to do our part. We have to go where no one went before on this planet, really, because this time we're getting it right. This time we are transforming this planet into a 5D planet. Now, I believe it's going to happen in stages, not going to just all happen overnight. I believe some of us will enter that 5D phase, but for everyone to go, it's going to take time. And that's where the phrase comes to mind, where we go one, we go all. But the other thing that I love is nothing can stop what's coming. And that truly is the case. We are on a very, very high timeline and a positive trajectory, and nothing can stop what's coming. But you have to still do your work. So let's buckle up, guys. Let's be prepared to do the heavy lifting, because we are those stronger, bigger souls that came here to do that work. It doesn't seem so much fun at first glance, but it is a tremendous effort. It is a once in a lifetime opportunity to be part of something incredible on this planet. So let's not forget that. There's a lot more that I can say, but I'm not going to say them today. I will check in with you tomorrow with other intel and interesting news, financial news, and all of those things. And I want to just leave you with, you know what to do. Do the inner work, switch off the news, do what you need to evolve your own consciousness, because we are counting on you. Okay? So I'm sending you guys so much love, and I'll speak to you soon.